somewhat aspect of a quest for a MacGuffin, trying to find that other bangle and beat it off the other villain. Maybe that wasn't the best choice of words, but we're going to continue. That I'm sure will exist. However, I do think
I'm sorry.
No. I'm trying to keep it going, but it's so difficult.
I just heard that.
Dude, I was gonna move past it.
Even just now, I was gonna say I'm trying to keep it going, but it's too hard.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Critics with Agents of Fandom. I am your host, as always, right here in Phoenix, Arizona, Isaac Joel. And today we are assembling not only with three of the greatest heroes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but three of the greatest heroes in the Agents of Fandom universe. Not only do you have myself, but we have Emma, our senior writer and co-host from Ticket2Reality, and TJ, our fearless leader.
Okay, well, it's so great to be here. As you said, I am a senior writer with Agents of Fandom. I co-host Ticket2Reality, where we talk about reality TV, and then it just kind of gets chaotic, and we talk about whatever, and it's so much fun. But
I'm so happy that we have this chance and this opportunity. Yeah. This is our first time meeting. This is our first time talking and everything on camera, and I'm glad it is that we're talking about this, because I know you and I both have had interactions online, and you crack me up. You're so freaking hilarious.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I love all of our interactions, and I'm so excited to get into this.
I love what it is that you all do. I love what it is that TJ has done, has brought together a group of remarkable people.
It's really kind of come out of nowhere, you know. Garrett, Ruben, and I started this up with just the three of us like a year ago, and we had some big plans, but never really imagined the heights we would be able to take this to as soon as all of these amazing, talented people like Emma, like you, Isaac, Ryan on socials, Adam on the editing team, and all these other amazing people we have. Our writer of the month in March, Layla, has just been absolutely crushing it with the articles. We have such an amazing group. I just feel so thankful and blessed to have these wonderful people on the team. And this trailer I'm excited about because I'm going to be honest, The Marvels was my number one most anticipated movie of the year for 2023, and then it dropped to number 2 when I saw the Spider-Verse trailer. When I saw the Spider-Verse trailer, I was just like, this has to be one. Oh my god,
nothing could beat it.
Yeah,
right,
it was
right. And so this trailer did just bring my hype level right back up. Though I'm always so excited for this movie, kind of forgetting that Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel, was in this movie, and then seeing the trailers and getting to see her just ramps my excitement back up, because I kind of forget this isn't just the sequel to Captain Marvel, which I would be excited about on its own, but this is The Marvels.
This was a big kind of lingering question that I had before this trailer, before anything, and I don't really want to count Quantumania, but how do you think the shows are going to prove that they work with bringing in the stories in the shows and the stories in the movies and connecting all these? Because what if there are people out there that are like, I'm not subscribed to Disney Plus, I'm not watching these shows, I'm not keeping up with all that stuff, I'm just strictly watching the movies. Is it still going to work for them?
I think so. I think there's been some interesting tie-ins. Like, so far with Multiverse of Madness, we had a pretty direct tie-in from WandaVision. I think this will be, Quantumania wasn't really anything except for Loki, but I think this will have a pretty direct, I guess that's probably a small part, but this one, I think it seems to have a pretty direct, I mean, it's going to continue right from Ms. Marvel, and I think what other people have said too, I think that the post-credit scene of Ms. Marvel is directly taken from the Marvels, and we see that happening again in the trailer with Brie Larson as Captain Marvel switching with Kamala Khan. But I think it's good. This is going to show that like the shows really have a direct tie-in to the movies for sure.
When it comes to Brie Larson, I don't understand why the internet has such an issue with her. I do think, and I think she is so beautiful. I think she is so fantastic. She is probably the only reason I am going to go see Fast X. Now, I'm not going to see it for any other reason besides her, because I'm curious how she fits in that world and everything like that. But I think Brie Larson, honestly, is a fantastic choice for Captain Marvel, and I want to see her interactions with Captain Rambo and Ms. Marvel, and how they all interact and mingle with each other. I think it's a good combination having these actresses together. Seriously, it kind of gives me these Charlie's Angels vibes, where you have the three women, and then Nick Fury is kind of like the Bosley of it, giving them their assignment, their mission, which, by the way, Nick Fury is having quite the season right now on Marvel. I don't feel like Nick Fury has gotten me this excited or this invested into his character in the Avengers movies, in all previous movies, even Winter Soldier. I feel like he is really stepping forward in the cinematic universe as we step into the cosmic, because I always thought that he would take a back seat a little bit since the world got bigger, but it's like he's front and center in it all.
He completely disappeared, and now he's back right front and center in the fold, obviously with Secret Invasion, and now with the Marvels coming. What I do love
His
about
Secret Invasion before the Marvels, how does that work in the timeline with this?
I assume.
Yeah, I would think so.
I think. I honestly don't know, though.
Yeah, because the way that he's portrayed in the Secret Invasion, I mean, I think that there's a few different versions of him in Secret Invasion, unless some of them I think are Skrulls in disguise. I think there's one main Nick Fury, and then I think the rest are Skrulls, because he's, portrayed differently. He has the eye patch in some frames, he has glasses, and then the Marvels trailer, he's just kind of looking like normal with the eye patch. So I don't really know. We're assuming that it's after, but
do we like the idea of there even being multiple Nick Furies, of that there are Skrulls that potentially the one that we see in the Marvels could not even be him at all? Do we like that?
I definitely, in general, I don't know if I would like it if it wasn't for something specifically tying into a project like Secret Invasion, where the entire purpose is going to be paranoia and us not knowing who is who and what character is going to be themselves and which character is going to be a Skrull. What I find the most interesting about that show, though, is every single Disney Plus show to this point has served a specific purpose for a character. Yes. Ms. Marvel, it was for Kamala Khan to become Ms. Marvel. WandaVision, yes, it explored grief, but it was for Wanda Maximoff to become the Scarlet Witch. Moon Knight was for him to become Moon, etc., etc., etc. And so Secret Invasion is kind of the first one where it's not like Nick Fury is going to become Super Nick Fury. You know what I mean? Like, this is just an event, a plot where we don't know. It's not going about the purpose of like introducing this character as a hero that now can just pop up in the movies. It's to tell a specific story. So that's the part that I'm going to find most interesting. And I'm very interested to see how that weaves into the Marvels.
Get into some of our favorite best moments from this trailer, because I'm not even gassing this up. It really got me excited, where I don't feel like a lot of these Marvels trailers get me that super excited. I definitely have my anticipation, my interest in them, of course, but to actually be in my seat and to be like, oh my God, I am now back into this. I am fanboying, fangirling out all over again as if I'm a child. Like, it really kind of like brings me back to those feelings with this one. I have my speculations and my doubts with this, but I really, before we even get into that, I want to talk about our favorite moments. Kicking it off for me, it really is the music of the trailer. The second that the I'm telling you, the second the trailer starts, you can hear like a little tone from the Intergalactic song, and the way that they cut it and use it before they even reveal it. Trailers don't, like, sound design wise, they're not that good anymore. They truly are not. This one is right up there in the sound design, with all of the blasters, the ships, all of that intertangled with the track. Chef's kiss for me.
I completely agree with that. There's something I was thinking about the other day, because I've been listening to, we were talking about the Spider-Verse trailer. I've been listening to that song that was in the trailer, What's Up Danger, like since
the
like
fact that they even reuse it, like,
yeah,
amazing.
It's just like and so I think I've been really loving like music choices for trailers recently. They just like really, it's like something about it that just like completely gets you hyped. So I really appreciated that. But I think my favorite part of the trailer was how Kamala Khan reacted to Goose. I thought that was hilarious. And I think she is going to be an absolute star in this movie, as she was in Miss Marvel. And then I absolutely thought it was so cool the way that you could see Monica Rambeau switching with, I think it went so fast that I can't remember
Right.
exactly. I think it was Captain Marvel in the fight in the final frame of the trailer, that you could see them switching. And I thought that was just so cool, and I think it's just a tease of like what's to come for this movie. I
She
think the
has
fight scenes are going to be
really
incredible.
great reactions, especially the
She does.
first one. Just to add to yours, the first one where she hits the ship and sees Nick Fury and the camera's upside down and like, to me this is cinematic. This is like hilarious. This is epic. Like all of these levels in one shot, where again, I don't get this feeling all that often, but her reaction really made that moment for me. What about you, TJ?
I agree with Emma with the Kamala and Goo stuff. That was hilarious, but it's really everything that has Kamala Khan in it. My favorite part at the end was,
That's
"Are
all we're
we a
talking
team?"
about.
No, no, we're not a team. And that was my favorite for two reasons: is one, you
Right.
get to see Kamala at her most Kamala, and but two, this trailer kind of gave me massive excitement, but also some pause for concern for two reasons personally, and that's because my favorite trope in all of TV and movie is the building of a squad. I love the culmination of a
Got it.
squad coming
Love it.
together at the end, their stories converging. That is my number one favorite. My least favorite, and it's the reason why Thor is my least favorite MCU movie, is the reason why I like the first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire better than the second. And that's because I hate the hero loses their powers trope. And I am a little bit worried that Carol might be a little nerfed in this movie to kind of be able to match up against the villain to fit Monica and Kamala's power sets. And I'm worried that Captain Marvel may not be this amazing, crazy badass like we are kind of hoping for her to be. And the reason that worries me is just because, like, we didn't get much of her in Endgame. In the Captain Marvel movie, that was kind of my issue with it. It had a lot of great parts, but we spent 95% of the movie without her actually having her powers, or her full extent of her powers. And so
you
I'm
still haven't
hoping they
even
don't go
really
that route.
seen Captain Marvel in her full potential yet.
Exactly. I'm still kind of hoping she gets her due in this movie. Like, I want her to get her Super Saiyan moment where she just kicks everybody's ass. Like, that's kind of what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
And so I hope that still will be the case.
Just bounce off of the whole tropes idea that you're talking about. You mentioned Thor, and I really hate using Thor as an example because it just seems so easy to get at, but I'm gonna talk about it. Thor: Love and Thunder. So the issue between those two movies, the thing that I don't love is when you send your group of heroes on a quest. And this used to be a really cool concept, but now it has gotten so cookie cutter that Quantumania follows it, where the heroes immediately go somewhere they don't belong, and they're going on this wild family road trip style adventure where they're learning lessons along the way. And it's like, you can just go back to telling stories. You can just go back to the characters. And this is why I love that they're taking Spider-Man back to the street level stuff. Is because those are more hero and character driven stories, not so much big spectacle set pieces, costume designs. Because when it cuts to that second half of the trailer and they're all dancing and then the Kree shows up and crashes the party, that stuff looks cool. It looks like Ragnarok. It looks like Taika Waititi, James Gunn-esque. It does. It's very bright in the way it looks. It doesn't look great. And so it's stuff like that where it has me like, oh man, I don't want this to just be our three heroes going on a spaceship and they see some cool stuff and then they go here and then they do this and they get separated and they come together. And I don't want it to follow these same rhythms over again. I want it to stand out, and I think it can, because I don't know if you guys knew this, but this marks the youngest filmmaker of any Marvel movie. The original being Ryan Coogler of the first Black Panther, now being Nia Costa. I hope I'm saying her name right. She originally directed Candyman and she went from Candyman directly to this, and I think that is such a come up for her.
That's awesome. I did not realize that. That's a really cool fun fact.
I'm so excited to see what she does with this movie, but in addition to that, like, I don't need the same type of, and where I think this one will fit this mold better is, we don't need like a fish out of water quest like we got in Quantumania, and like exploring all this weird different stuff when we really just wanted more time with our heroes and the villain in Thor: Love and Thunder. With this type of quest feels like, and this is my favorite kind, is the quest for self-actualization. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the quest to just find the MacGuffin, and I'm sure when we'll talk about this a bit more, like, oh, the other bangle seems to be on the villain here, and I'm sure that's going to be something they're searching for, but I think the quest here will be more internal. Obviously, there's a lot of unresolved emotional trauma between Monica and Carol that we see in WandaVision, and we have no idea what the heck it's about. You know, they had that trailer, like the trailer that they showed, I'm not sure if it was SDCC or what, but apparently it was almost the exact same footage to this, but it had Carol saying, in a quote in this trailer, you know, I used to change your diapers, Lieutenant Trouble. And so, like, they're gonna be clashing at each other a little bit, and we don't know why. And so, I think while there will be a somewhat aspect of a quest for a MacGuffin, trying to find that other bangle and beat it off the other villain. Maybe that wasn't the best choice of words, but we're gonna continue. That I'm sure will exist. However, I do think
I'm sorry.
No. I'm trying to keep it going, but it's so difficult.
I just heard that.
Dude, I was gonna move past it.
Even just now, I was gonna say I'm trying to keep it going, but it's too hard, and then I realized that would have immediately fallen back into it too. But I feel like there's gonna be a personal, emotional struggle in this movie, similar to the one I'm going right now, not to use sexual innuendos. I think we're gonna get that in this movie.
Fearless leader, ladies and gentlemen. That was so great. No, I mean you were killing it in the beginning, but then you got to the beat it off, you know. And then
self-actual. Dude, I watched the Barbie trailer too many times.
Man.
I watched the Barbie trailer too many times.
Exactly.
With our two Kens, Simu Liu and Ryan Gosling beaching each other off.
Do you believe that this movie has any ties with Guardians of the Galaxy? Because that movie is obviously coming up in the next couple of weeks. I'm sure we all have our tickets to go see it. But we've already heard James Gunn talking about how this is a standalone movie. This is a send-off, a goodbye for the Guardians. But it's still Marvel. It's still a Marvel property. There's post-credit scenes. There's mid-credit scenes. There's all that stuff. So, with that being said, do you believe that there's any tie-in with this and the Marvels?
I could see there being some sort of tie-in. I was just thinking about, like, what, you know, while James Gunn, like you mentioned, has talked about the Guardians movie, the point is to kind of wrap up the Guardians story. I could totally see a post-credit, though, where one of whoever the remaining Guardians are, because at this point we don't know who's going to make it out of that movie alive. But I think that I could see something where it ties into this, where one of the, let's say it's like Nebula, her next kind of thing is to go and help the Marvels or get involved in whatever Kree conflict is going on, which I think is what is going to be happening in this movie. There's also the tease with that Ronin looking figure behind Zawe Ashton's character. That's definitely, like, it looks like Ronin. So I'm guessing it's some sort of, maybe it's a flashback or some sort of connection there. I think that we could definitely see, while they're both like big kind of like space cosmic, they're both the cosmic side of the MCU, I could absolutely see there being some sort of tie-in through Ronin or any other space.
It is a little confusing when it comes to the tie-in of Ronin being that at the end of Captain Marvel, he's like, oh, I'm coming back for her. And then you fast forward to the Guardians and he just blows up and is dead now. So it would be a little weird seeing a flashback in it. I am curious though how they're going to resolve the character Ronin.
I don't think either of the main stories are going to have any tie-ins, but what I do think is we could see some potential post-credit scene stuff, and maybe not just with the Guardians, but I'm also wondering if maybe potentially Eternals. Like, based on just all of this is happening in space right now. Now, don't get me wrong, I know space it's pretty big. It's not like they're all just going to run into each other on the highway, you know. But with this group of Eternals out there being in space, and then specifically with the Guardians, I'm thinking Adam Warlock. I could see
Right.
Adam Warlock and Carol Danvers potentially interacting with each other in the future, either teaming up or against each other, depending on what they're shooting for, what their goals here. But I don't. I think the main stories will be pretty contained, and then maybe in the post credits scene, we will see kind of some future connections lining up.
I really love how they're portraying space in this movie. I really love how they do it with the Guardians, and even Volume 3 looks like it's taking a new angle, new direction, new corner of space, and that's what I want to see. That's what we love about Star Wars, is that it's always a different corner of the galaxy. And so with the Marvels, I really do feel like it's this kind of more darker, a low lit level of space. Even that hallway where Kamala falls in front of the fracking, and how it's just like this triangular dark hallway. It's the sets like that for me, it's gonna kind of make this movie, because I don't love how they film a lot of these projects with the volume, with the 360 LED screen. I kind of feel like it's starting to become very, very obvious whenever they do film in the volume. I don't feel like Disney has yet to utilize it. You know, we saw what James Mangold said about Indiana Jones. He's like, no, we're shooting on real locations. That's what this movie feels like. This feels like they're actually there. They're actually doing this stuff. And we'll only time will tell. We love this trailer. This is a 99% solid trailer. I think there is one controversial shot about this that kind of stood out to a few people. The actor that plays Kamala's father in the show, there have been these crazy allegations of him that have came to light since the show. I'm sure he shot all of these scenes for the Marvels, for the films, way before all this stuff. So for some people, it's like, whoa, got a lot of nerve kind of showing him in the movie in general. But then at the same time, how do you cut around that? What are you left to do with a situation like this?
Yeah, so it came to light. I don't even remember when. It seemed like some people found out about it at that time, and then it's kind of been one of those things that actually a lot of people don't seem to know about it, because I've had,
Right.
some friends that have been like, "Oh, I wasn't aware until like yesterday." Unfortunately, there are
Which
some
people should know about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't want to get into the details, but him being involved with a minor, just really, really nasty stuff.
Right.
And so it's definitely very upsetting to see, kind of see him right there. And like you said, I'm sure that it was all filmed previously before this came out, but it's kind of interesting. And I don't purport to be, I'm not a filmmaker. I don't know how this stuff really works, but
Yeah.
I feel like at least in the trailer, there probably was a way to kind of like cut it around him to make him not like stand out like that. So it's definitely pretty upsetting to see, and I'm interested to see, though, kind of find out some details if we can about, maybe, I don't know, I would imagine that they would know about it, but at the same time, like I mentioned, it was something that a lot of people didn't really seem to know. So I'll be interested to see how he's, like, his role in the movie, to see whether maybe something happens after the trailer. I know there were a bunch of reshoots, so I'm not sure what's going to happen with that.
Was there really a bunch of reshoots for it?
That's what I heard. So I don't know. I think
Reshoots are very scary with Marvel movies, just because after Quantumania, it is very obvious that movie had a different ending in mind, and they, I think, shot that scene of them having dinner like weeks before the movie even came out, which to me is scary that you can even do that, like so close to a release date. That is terrifying to me. TJ, do you think this is a problem for the movie? I think it's very funny when you go back and rewatch the trailer. Although he is there, they clearly cut out any dialogue he had because only the mother speaks.
Yeah, and like that's kind of the annoying part about the situation is I get that this was filmed 2 years ago. This was basically filmed like at the same time as the Marvels, right? And so I get that depending on what scenes that he's in, it might have been difficult to reshoot, edit him out, etc. But like Ruben, who's our amazing producer and one of our fearless leaders as well, tweeted out a perfect example this morning of like, look how easy it is to just cut him out of this frame. And it would have been such an easy thing to do if at least if you're not pulling him all the way out of the movie, to pull him out of the marketing. The thing I didn't realize is that, like, if you Google his name, the only place this really comes up, like our friends at the direct.com wrote a piece. And like our own Adam Blevins is going to be writing up something about this up on agentsofandom.com
Okay,
shortly
there we
as
go.
well. But there's something from the direct, there's something from some like Indian pop culture websites, some Bollywood news websites, but not
very
like
much people
Western
are talking
news.
about it.
Not very many people are talking about it. And so what I'm assuming kind of happened here is these are allegations. There haven't been charges. You know, not that many people know about it. It's going to be fine. Now, it totally sucks that that's their mindset. Yeah, but yeah. I do think that that's kind of what it is that in our own echo chamber, we've all heard about it. It seems common. But then even if you reach out to other people in the industry, they had no idea until other people started bringing it to their attention in the last like 24 hours. So I don't actually think this was something that was as mainstream of news as we realize. And it does kind of suck that like that's the most likely the reason why they didn't do anything about it, is like their decision isn't based on this is not a good person, therefore we shouldn't work with them. It's based on how many people know that this person's not a good person and who will be mad at us for it.
I think I really appreciate, first and foremost, the fact that Agents of Fandom is even doing an article specifically about this. I had no idea about that. Second of all, I'm very glad that we are bringing awareness to it on this episode, because all morning, since the trailers dropped, you know how YouTubers are and social media influencers are. They immediately post their trailer reactions and their thoughts and everything like right away. It's insane. I don't know how quick how these people do
the amount of incel misogynists who just had like, this movie's gonna be terrible thumbnails ready to go before the trailer even dropped.
It's insane. It's insane.
I've been blocking so many people on Twitter today.
But all those videos that I've watched, my point being, all those videos that I watched, I swear, guys, I have not heard one person even mention it. One person it'd be like, why is that? Did you hear what this happened? Did you know, they're watching it with their girlfriends, their wives or whatever. And they have no idea. They breeze through the scene so quickly, like nothing. And for me, it was so glaring. It was like, dang, whoa, and if we're over here talking about it, I don't know how people in the editor's room are like, do we have to put this clip in? I'm just saying, like, we could show literally anything else besides this frame. Like, you could keep it in the movie if you have to, sure. But the marketing of it, man, we got to sell the movie.
I'm interested too to know, like, obviously the executives, the up top, know all about this. They know all about everything.
Obviously.
I'm interested to know, like, how many people on just like the day-to-day staff working on this project, working on the marketing, working on the editing, are actually aware of it. You know what I mean? Because like, I'm assuming based on the amount of people who don't, there's a concerted effort from someone, most likely someone with money, trying to keep this quiet. And so it'd be interesting to know, like, if a tell-all of this comes out when he eventually gets recast or written out of the future projects, it'd be interesting to see like how many people were aware of this at this moment, you know?
Yeah, they might just include a scene where Kamala's like, "Oh no, Daddy died." Like, they'll just write him off. You know, they won't even show it or anything. Just house explodes and everyone got out except him. You know,
we got a divorce. He wasn't good anymore.
On business.
Yeah, it wasn't working out.
I want to touch on one more thing from the trailer first, and so that we don't have to talk about the things that we're supposed to be doing and
all
not.
The things that are
yeah, and that's the potential antagonist of this movie. And that's like, we kind of all assumed, the common almost consensus theory when we see that Ms. Marvel post-credit scene and all of a sudden Brie Larson's Carol Danvers is in Kamala Khan's room, we assumed that Carol Danvers must have touched the other bangle and they swapped places. We see here that maybe that's the case, but through every shot of this trailer, we see Zawe Ashton's character is the one wearing the bangle. And so I find that very interesting to what this could mean for the story, but more so, who is Zawe Ashton playing? And there's two kind of big theories as to who the main antagonist of this movie is going to be. One of them being L'Oreal, somebody who has wielded Ronin's weapon before and is the Kree half-sister of Carol Danvers. That's and one of the reasons that that's kind of a prevailing theory is because it's 2023 right now. This character was introduced in comics in 2020, brand new to comics. So it would make sense that why are they introducing this character in comics? So people could get to know them before a movie. There's some other stuff though where different scoopers and such on Twitter are talking about that this character is actually going to be Dar-Ben, and Dar-Ben is a Kree soldier and a Kree like ruler. She became an emperor of the Kree Empire, and is somebody that wields a big accuser gavel as well, whatever they're called. And so, two potential characters that they could be. I don't know which one. Some fairly credible people are saying they think it's Dar-Ben, but all the people seem to be hoping that it's L'Oreal. I don't know much about either of these characters, but the fact that they got Ronan the Accuser's power stick hammer thing, and she has a bangle on her hand. What I'm hoping this means is that Carol Danvers is not in fact nerfed, and that this woman is just super, super powerful. And I think that would make for a very interesting matchup.
Thank you guys so much for coming on and talking about this trailer with the critics. This has been truly a pleasure. I'm very curious what's coming up this week for Agents of Fandom, for Ticket to Reality. What are we covering this week? I know for one, me tonight, God willing, I'm going to be seeing Renfield, and I'm going to be doing a review about that. We're going to post that this week. I've been very, very anxious to talk about that and get my thoughts on that with you guys. But I'm very curious. What do you guys have going on this week?
Ticket to Reality, Em. I want to let you go first. Who do we host this thing with? Who have we had on the show recently, and what's coming?
Yeah, so we every Tuesday sometimes do a live show, sometimes a recording. We host with finalist Lee Swift of season 2. I always get the season wrong, but I'm pretty certain it's 2. And then with me, TJ, and then our awesome social media person, King, Ryan Cortero. And right now we're covering Love is Blind, which is a really chaotic season, as always. I don't know why I keep watching it, but it's very entertaining. And last week we had Sam from season 5 of The Circle, the winner. And then, yeah, right now Love is Blind is the biggest thing, but we'll have tons of stuff coming down the pipeline that I'm really excited for.
Yeah, The Circle, Perfect Match, Big Brother, Survivor. We cover all of it over there. And then, so as soon as we're done here, I'd have to start writing an article, or have to finish writing an article about Grand Admiral Thrawn appearing in the Ahsoka trailer, who this guy is. Star Wars Celebration was obviously this weekend, and that's kind of what has taken over most of our content right now. We've been covering all of it over at the Agents of Fandom podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts, and on this same YouTube page, the Agents of Fandom YouTube page. And I'm writing, and we have tons of great articles up on agentsfandom.com from Star Wars Celebration, including one from Emma, and I'm finishing mine up from Grand Admiral Thrawn right now. So Star Wars, Marvel, DC, covering the big three of geek fandom, but since we have this amazing crew of creators, we're kind of expanding into everything now, so make sure you check it out.
That is so insane to hear. You can literally get every form of content on this channel, whether you're watching reality shows, the big movies, or any of the Disney Plus series. You can get all of your information, stay up to date with everything under this platform. You guys really should subscribe to the channel, follow the website, follow the Twitter, the social medias, everything. This has been a great time being able to talk with you guys about all of this stuff. I'm very excited about the future for this year in general. We talked about it on the last episode of the Critics, where we discussed all of the big trailers that dropped last week. This is going to be a massive year. It really feels like this is going to be one of those big years that we're going to talk about in the future. This is going to be like 2012 of the cinematic history.
We're going to find out if movie theaters are back. Sorry to cut you off, Isaac, but we're going to find out this year if movie theaters are back.
Yep.
And you know what? That's a good point, because back when Maverick came out, everyone was like, "Oh, movie theaters." That's one movie. That's one movie. You need to sustain and keep up with the cinemas with all of these movies coming out and the quality of them. You have to keep that level of excitement. I was just watching for the first time yesterday Jaws. Never seen the movie in my life, but the reason why I watched this movie was because it apparently coined the phrase summer blockbuster. And that term wasn't even used before the movie, and it is because no one went to the movies during the summer. That's when everyone went to the beach, went to the pools. The theaters were dead during that time. That was the
and
worst
here's
season.
why you don't go to the beach.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, right?
Like,
That kept everyone coming in now. I have been your host right here at the Critics, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for listening.